Think about this for a moment. When you wake up in the morning and get out of bed, does your back say, wait, I'm not ready yet? That brief hesitation is actually a sign that your body is telling you something important. Because that moment is not just a habit, it is a real biological signal coming from your muscles and joints. For millions of people over the age of 60, the first movements of the morning feel like a genuine struggle. The lower back feels heavy, the hips feel locked, taking a step feels harder than it should. You pause for a moment before stepping onto the stairs. You use your arms for support when getting up from a chair. And most people simply accept this by saying, I've gotten older, this is just how it is. But the research of the last decade says something very different. And that difference is important enough to change your life. Researchers from Johns Hopkins University, in a comprehensive analysis published in 2022, found that the morning lower back and hip stiffness experienced by adults over 60 is caused not primarily by aging itself, but by muscle passivity that develops during sleep. In other words, this is not inevitable. It can be completely reversed. So, why does this happen? During prolonged periods of inactivity, especially over the course of 7 to 8 hours of sleep, the small stabilizer muscles that support the lower back and hips go completely offline. The nervous system temporarily reduces the signals it sends to these muscles. And when you wake up, these muscles do not automatically reactivate right away. When you stand up before they are ready, the entire load falls directly onto the spine and hip joint with no protection in place. The result is that familiar heaviness, stiffness, and instability you feel in those first steps of the day. But if we go deeper, the issue is not just morning stiffness. Starting at age 50, the body begins losing muscle mass at a rate of 1 to 2% per year. The medical term for this process is sarcopenia, and the muscles that weaken the fastest are exactly the ones that support the hips and lower back. According to data from a National Institute on Aging, when left unaddressed, this loss can reach dramatic levels by the time a person reaches their 70s. As muscle mass declines, the load on the joints increases, the quality of movement drops, balance deteriorates, and over time the risk of falling rises significantly. This is where the good news comes in. This loss is largely reversible. Because the problem is not that the muscle has completely disappeared. The problem is that the muscle has gone into sleep mode. And waking up a muscle that is in sleep mode does not require hours of exercise. What needs to be done is much smaller, much more specific, and much more accessible than most people think. Today, I'm going to show you a short 5-step movement sequence that my patients over 60 have added to their morning routine, one that you can begin before you even get out of bed. We will count down from exercise 5 to exercise 1. Each movement prepares the next one, and each step builds on the one before it. And the very last exercise targets the muscle that researchers at Harvard Medical School have identified as the most critical muscle for hip stability. Most people have never properly activated this muscle. But once it comes back online, the way you walk changes, your balance strengthens, and mornings feel completely different. Before we begin, one thing. Write your age and where you are watching from in the comment section below. We read and replied to every single comment. This means a great deal to us, and it can become a part of your routine as well. Now, without further delay, let's begin. Exercise 5, lying knee pull, and the first exercise will surprise you, because it is done without even getting out of bed. The biggest mistake most people make is this. The moment they open their eyes, they try to stand up, but after 7 to 8 hours of sleep, your hip flexors, the muscles responsible for lifting your legs forward, are fully shortened and contracted. Your lower back muscles, on the other hand, are elongated and passive. Standing up suddenly without preparing these muscles at all creates unnecessary and entirely preventable stress on the joints. Researchers at the Cleveland Clinic explain that the very first pressure applied to a joint in the morning can be far more damaging than other loads placed on it throughout the day, precisely because the joint has not yet been fully prepared. This exercise is designed specifically to solve that problem. Lie on your back, legs straight and relaxed. Now slowly draw one knee toward your chest. You can gently support the leg by placing your hand just below the knee on the calf. But do not force it. Simply allow gravity and the natural weight of the hip to guide the movement. Bring your knee as close to your chest as is comfortable, but stop before you reach any point of pain. When you reach that point, stop. That boundary is your body's boundary for today. You should not push past it. Now hold that position for 20 seconds. During that time, try to notice what is happening inside your body. You will feel a mild tension on the outer side of the hip. You may also feel a sense of opening in the lower back. This is exactly the right thing. It is the sign that the shortened muscles are beginning to slowly lengthen and reawaken. After 20 seconds, slowly release the leg and return it to a fully straight position. Take a breath, then move to the other leg. Same movement, same duration. One set each morning is enough. Patience and consistency are far more valuable than the number of repetitions. The vast majority of my patients who perform this movement regularly notice something within the first few days. When they get out of bed, that familiar first step stiffness has noticeably decreased. Why? Because the muscles supporting the hip are now more upright and ready when that first step arrives. But this is only the beginning. Exercise 4. Pelvic tilt. Awaken the lower back stabilizers. We are still in bed. And this second exercise is perhaps the smallest but most effective movement in the entire routine. The pelvic tilt is one of the first exercises taught to patients with lower back pain in physical therapy clinics. The reason is simple. This movement directly targets the deep stabilizer muscles that support the lower back, muscles that most people are not even aware they have. These are the small but critical muscles that support the spine with every step, every time you sit down, and every time you stand up. When they weaken, the spine is left unprotected and back pain begins. That a study conducted at the University of Pittsburgh Medical Center in 2020 showed that participants over 60 who added this exercise to their daily routine experienced a noticeable reduction in morning lower back stiffness within just 3 weeks. And this was not limited to how they felt. It also included measurable changes in posture. How is it done? Lie on your back. Now, bend your knees and place the soles of your feet flat on mattress. Your arms are at your sides, relaxed. Now bring your attention to your lower back. You will notice a natural gap between your back and the mattress, a small arch. That arch is there right now, and that is perfectly normal. What you are about to do is close that gap. Slowly press your lower back down into the mattress. Gently draw your navel slightly inward. Do not try to squeeze your glutes, just press your lower back down. When you're doing it correctly, you will feel that small gap between your back and the mattress disappear. And deep inside your abdominal region, you will feel a very subtle contraction. That sensation is the sign that you are working the right muscles. Hold that position for 5 seconds, then slowly release. Allow the lower back to return to its natural position. Once you have fully relaxed, repeat. This alternating cycle of contraction and release is the rhythm that allows the muscle to activate most efficiently. D-10 repetitions. Unhurried, without holding your breath. Breathe with the movement. Inhale, then slowly exhale as you press the lower back down. After this movement is complete, getting out of bed feels much easier because the muscles that will support you as you stand are now awakened and ready. Exercise 3. Seated hip opener. Release the piriformis. Is now time to get out of bed. But we're not jumping straight to our feet. We're sitting on the edge of a chair. This transition is intentional. We are preparing the body gradually for the shift from a horizontal position to an upright one. This exercise is known in medicine as the figure 4 stretch and is widely used in orthopedic rehabilitation programs. The muscle it targets is the piriformis. Many of you may never have heard this name, but you have been feeling it every day. The piriformis is a small muscle located deep within the hip. Its job is to rotate the leg outward. But in adults over 60, inactivity causes this muscle to chronically shorten and stiffen. A shortened piriformis can cause not only hip pain, but also nerve compression, inward rotation of a knee, and a tension that radiates into the lower back. A significant portion of the pain that many people assume is sciatica is actually a condition triggered by this muscle. Sit on the edge of a chair. Your back is upright, but not tense. Your feet are flat on the floor. Now place one ankle on top of the opposite knee. You can gently rest your hand on the shin to support the weight of the leg. This is the figure 4 position. Now, keeping your back straight, lean your torso very slightly forward, as if you were reaching towards something on a table. Just a few centimeters is enough. This small movement will create a clear sensation of tension on the outer and back portion of the hip. That is exactly where you should be feeling it. Hold for 20 seconds. Do not force it. You're feeling tension, but you're not feeling pain. If there is pain, ease back slightly. After 20 seconds, lower the leg to the floor, take a breath, and repeat with the other leg. Patients who perform this movement regularly notice something within just a few days. Getting up from a chair feels much more fluid. That first step onto the stairs feels much more confident, because the muscles that hold the hip in the correct position are now free to function. Exercise 2. Standing heel raise. Reclaim your balance. We are now standing. And this exercise is extremely important both physically and neurologically. As we age, balance is not simply a matter of muscle strength. It is also a matter of the nervous system. The balance receptors located in the soles of the feet and in the calves continuously send positional information to the brain. When these receptors go unused, just like muscles, they gradually begin to lose their function, and balance deteriorates. The heel raise exercise directly stimulates these receptors. Lightly hold the back of a chair for support. Feet shoulder width apart. Now slowly raise your heels off the floor. You are rising onto your toes. Your entire body weight is now resting on the front portion of the foot on the metatarsal bones. Hold this position for 3 seconds. As you work to maintain your balance during those 3 seconds, you will notice how actively your foot and calf muscles are working. Many people experience a slight wobble the first time they perform this simple movement. This is a sign that the balance system is beginning to come back online. Then slowly lower yourself back down. Do not drop the heels. Lower them in a controlled manner. This downward phase of the movement is just as important as the upward phase. It lengthens the muscles in a controlled way and improves joint coordination. Do 10 repetitions. Keep the pace steady. Do not rush. According to a comprehensive meta-analysis published in the International Journal of Aging Research, regular balance exercises can reduce the risk of falling in adults over 60 by more than 30%. 30%. That is a figure far safer and far more accessible than any medication or medical intervention. Once the heel raises are complete, your calf muscles are activated, your circulation has accelerated, and your balanced nervous system is now operational. You are ready for the final and most critical exercise. Exercise 1. Mini side step. Wake up that hidden muscle. This final exercise is the most important movement in the entire routine, and it targets a muscle whose name you have most likely never heard: the gluteus medius. The gluteus medius is a medium-sized muscle located on the side of the hip, just above the large gluteal muscle. Its role is simple, but absolutely critical: to keep your hip stable with every single step you take. It is the muscle that prevents you from losing your balance over your standing foot while the other foot is in the air. The muscle that prevents your hips from swaying side to side as you climb stairs, and the muscle that keeps your body upright when you walk on an uneven surface. What happens when it weakens? The hips sway slightly to the side while walking. The knees turn inward. The lower back tries to compensate for the instability in the hip and eventually begins to hurt as well. The pressure distributed across the knee joint becomes uneven, and over time this asymmetry wears down both the knee and the hip joint. Researchers at Harvard Medical School describe the gluteus medius as the key stabilizer of the hip and emphasize that its weakening with age plays a critical role in the increased risk of falling. How is this exercise performed? Lightly hold the back of a chair, but do not lean your weight into it. Just for balance, bend your knees very slightly, without fully locking them. Feet shoulder width apart, a natural stance. Now, take one foot out to the side in a small lateral step. The step does not need to be large. 20 to 25 centimeters is enough. Then slowly bring it back. Then open to the other side in the same way and bring it back. The important thing is the tempo. Slow. Each step should take approximately 2 seconds to open and 2 seconds to close. If you move quickly, momentum does the work and the muscle does not. If you move slowly, the muscle feels every moment and activates fully at D-10 repetitions in each direction. When done correctly, you will begin to feel a mild burning sensation on the side of the hip, near the area where your pocket would be. That sensation is the sign that the gluteus medius is working. Many of my patients are surprised when they feel this for the first time. I had no idea this area was this weak, they say, and this is exactly where the transformation begins. When you start waking up this muscle on a regular basis, within a few weeks you typically notice the following. Your steps feel more balanced and more confident when walking. The need to hold on while going up the stairs decreases. Getting up from a chair feels more fluid. And that first step in the morning no longer feels like a struggle. Let's summarize the routine 5 exercises. 5 minutes. No equipment. You begin with the lying knee pull. You awaken the hip flexors and lower back muscles. Then with the pelvic tilt, you bring the deep lower back stabilizers online. You get out of bed, sit in a chair, and with the hip opener you release the piriformis. You stand up, and with the heel raise you work the calves while stimulating the balance system. And finally, with the mini side step, you activate that critical gluteus medius. This sequence is not random. Each exercise prepares the next one. And when applied together as a whole, the body becomes genuinely ready during that first hour of the morning. Many patients notice the change within 2 weeks. Some notice it sooner. The first step of the morning changes. It becomes lighter, and that small change carries through the rest of the day. 1 extra tip. After this routine, drink a glass of water and add 10 ankle circles. These small additions further accelerate lower body circulation and enhance the overall effect of the routine. Do not forget to write your age and where you are watching from in the comment section. See you next time.